What's the best way to store electricity? Probably you heard about an idea to lift rocks in the air when you have like surplus power, and afterwards when like the wind energy or like the sun energy is over, then you slowly let the rocks or like the heavy weights down, and meanwhile you produce energy like with mechanical power, let's say. The idea is not new. I think we can have like a new engineering solution that has like tons and tons of benefits compared to the old school building of these mechanisms, like usually cranes. Let me read them, and I'm like cheating here, I will read it. This solution is code compliant. You don't need any paperwork for the government. Like you basically don't need paperwork for, you can just go out in your garden and you can build it. In a legal standpoint, you don't even need an engineer, like you don't need nothing basically. It's a totally do-it-yourself thing. You don't need your neighbor's approval at all. Can be built anywhere, even in small gardens. So the government will let you do it. It's one of the cheapest options. Basically it costs like maybe a few $100s. It might cost even less compared to tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. You won't need to build a crane or like a tower to lift like a heavy weight, like 10-story building above like your neighbors. You won't need foundations. Don't have to build foundations at all. It's not tall. And it's extremely safe and cheap. And as mentioned again, it works in the smallest gardens. And it's like an IKEA furniture, extraordinary simple to assemble. You don't have to be like a craft person, you can do it yourself. Go to the nearest shop, you buy all of the tools that are like cheap, and you can build it. You can start it from like $100 to $100 budget, and afterwards you can add more and more and more. It's not like you have to have like $100,000 upfront, so we are not speaking about that. Before I give you the engineering solution, like for that particular case, like how to do it cheap and all of the benefits mentioned, I would like to mention you, because probably most of you, and me myself included, are like extraordinary like into the idea of building two lakes on a mountainside, one lake above and one lake on the lower part. I would like to show why that idea is not like the best case in 99% of the situations. So one, I don't want to be mean here, but nobody is Leonardo DiCaprio with 100,000 million trillion euros in his pocket, and you can't just buy like a mountain for that. So most of the persons live in a city, in a small land, so you owning like a hill, it's like not the best option. The second problem here with the lakes, it's if you run the pumps, the water level will change. So if you're having a small lake, like in size, like in the area, that means that the water level will drop like a few meters, like 7, 10, maybe more inches. So here, it's like that. And if the water level is going up and down all day, that means the lake will collapse easily. If you think about it, if you have like a normal lake and you put water in it, the pressure of the water will hold the earth. However, if the water is going away like 1, 2, 3 times in a week, even more, that means that it will collapse. Or the angle will be like so small that you have like a huge lake that puts you like in a millionaire level, like again. Because you need more land, and imagine like you have to have like a huge lake on the mountain. That means you're like having acres and acres and acres of land. And you need a turbine, and you need like a lot of money and money and money. But it's like a great idea, but not for all of us. Like lifting rocks, it's a great idea. However, the classical method uses a crane. And what's the problem with the crane? The taller every construction gets, like look, that's the construction, the taller it gets, the wing's power will smash it. So there's an engineering formula, basically M equals F or L. So the momentum, let's say that's the crane here. So the momentum, basically the rotation, gets bigger if the length, like the height, is bigger. So the taller your crane gets, the more momentum will get, so basically it will be easier to blow down. That means powerful foundations, and probably you will need cables to solidify it. And not just that, the problem, you would need way bigger land, and your neighborhood won't be happy that you're having like a 3, 4, 5, 10 story like building near them with like 10, 20, like a lot of weight on it. It's kind of a dangerous thing, and probably it's like in the 100,000s level of budget. So you don't want that. It can work, but you don't want it. And because of that, like in a residential area, there's no government on earth that will let you do it. And my solution here, the solution can manage all of those. So let's see. So why I like this solution? I like it because for first it's like low. It's not going up. We can get away with less of materials. I told you like another example. Let's say you have a tower that's like 30 meters in height, and therefore I would rather get like 10 pieces of 3-meter height something than one that's like 30 meters. Because we can get away with way less structure. We can get away not having foundations, and we can get away with basically not having a building permit because we are low. And we are not in the tower, we are not in the construction, we are like maybe parking a car category of construction, because you're not getting into a game. It's like parking your car. Do you need a building permit parking your car? No, because it's it's parking a car, see? So it's like totally different. How can we make the cheapest and most simple structure that can hold rocks and lift them like maybe 2 meters or like 3 meters? And if you think about it, we need a V shape, like that shape, that's like really strong and holds it. And the other shapes, like between the V shapes, can be a cheap cable. Like not even like a metal bar. It can be as simple as a cheap cable. Sometimes you need a metal bar, sometimes you need a cable, a really cheap version there. And the bar that's above all of it, it's not like a structural element, just like a rail that houses a mechanism that goes to the first rock, it lifts them. Then when it's lifted, it uses the rail, it goes to the second one, it lifts it. When it lifted it, then it goes to the third, and it continues. And afterward, like when you don't have electricity and you need it, you want to use the power of the rocks, then it will go to the first rock and it will start to put it down and will generate electricity. Then it goes to the second one, and so on. Look at the lower part of the engineering. You have the V shape, and the V shape, because of the weight of the rocks, it will want to open. You don't put a metal bar because every time you use some metal bar, it costs you money, and you literally don't need it. You can just put like a metal cable, because even if you use rocks or you put like a bag filled with earth, it's not that heavy compared to the force of metal. That's like nothing, that's like child's play. So you don't have to put here in that area in the lower part more than like a simple cable. Sure, here like that one and that one, you need them, but not here. And in between like the V shapes, you don't need something strong as well, because that's just like stabilizing not to go to left and right. And you can get away, like many times you can get away just putting normal cables if you stretch them, the first and the last one, or maybe every third or fourth you like stabilize them, but usually you can get away without it. So that was my idea. Hopefully you liked it. And what I forget to say, never ever weld. It's like poison. So if you're welding metal, that means all of the zinc or all of the coating, all of the paints will come down. You need to use screws as much as possible, because the screws are like certified. Don't have to do anything else, just like make a hole in the metal bars, put the screw in it, and that's it, like an IKEA furniture. Because every time you're like welding, you need specialized workers, you need specialized equipment, you need certified workmanship, and everything costs you money, time, effort, stress. And screws don't, because You buy the metal bars that's certified, you know what you're buying, then you're buying the screws, you know what happens, and if some engineer like calculated you like what's the hole that you have to put there, it will stand it. Don't get me wrong, when I said you don't need a certified engineer, it's not like, oh, you're going do it yourself and you start to grab some like rocks in your garden and all of it will fall on you. Sure, you should calculate it, and sure, pay, please, from the bottom of my heart, pay a good engineer to calculate you. I just wanted to say like that construction, I have no idea what it is, but it's not a house, so probably you don't need engineering paperwork for it from the government as a construction. See? So it's like a car, like saying that, yeah, okay, if you have a car, you need some engineering, you need some calculations, but you don't have to go to the government saying, oh, you have a house here and you're parking the house here. So, see, it has a logic. I don't say like you need to do stupid shit and it's like a do-it-yourself for sure. However, please calculate it and go with an engineer with it. And don't be don't be stupid. Don't do stupid shit, please. Like promise me. You promise me, okay? And I made you guys like a really good program or like blueprint about how to build premium houses under $5,000 per room. It can be any type, shape and form. And please visit my website. I put it there, like maverickmansions.com. And it's available for free. You don't have to opt in. I'm not wanting your email or anything. And I put it like from A to Z. How can you manage or how can you build a house? As mentioned, like every type, shape, form, with every materials that's like sustainable, energy efficient, basically a net zero energy, and it costs like barely nothing. And the other benefits are like you can change the cables, like the plumbing, it's plug and play. Not that you necessarily have to change them because you're like bored and you do that, like why not? I had in my mind like the water leakage in the long run, like not repainting the whole house because of like one water leakage in like 5 years or 10 years. Or nowadays like the technology is like going crazy, so like the home equipment, home appliances, if you want to put like a new cable, like the smart home things, you will be able to put a cable anywhere. The house is so good, like so great, that if you want to make it bigger, basically you can do it like you can put a room near it like in 2 days or like I would say 3 days, but let's say 2. Like I'm not exaggerating here. It's free. You can check it, like you can read it. I'm not selling a cat in a box here. The only reason I didn't put it on YouTube because I think it has like a linearity. So it's like easier to me in English to explain like, hey, we are starting with that, then I'm talking about that. On YouTube in English I'm not that great yet to like make a 20 episodes about the whole idea and like keeping like on the check mark. So please go to the website. Probably I won't speak about that on YouTube. Maybe I will speak about like the best parts or one part of it, but not like a whole. The other benefit of the house is like it's really cheap. When you buy a house and you want financing from the bank will say, okay, that house worth like that money. However, if you build those kind of houses that like look luxury, they look premium, especially if they're like so energy efficient that they don't need the grid, they're like off the grid, that means the land that you bought for like $3, $4, $5, like far from the city, and in the bank's mindset it was nothing, like the land itself. Afterwards you build that energy efficient house, like net zero energy house on it. That means on the instant, like you build a house and in like 3 months or like 4 months, and I'm not even talking about the house, I'm talking about the land, the $3, $4, $5 land per square meter, it will transform in like a $15, $20, because they will say, hoppa, wait a bit, we have a house there, and persons can actually live there. That means the person, like the owner, like you can sell it or you can rent it out for money. That means that's like an asset. It's not like something that's eating your money, it's something that's bringing you money. the bank gives those money that they can manage it well. So let's say you had like, I'm just saying a number just like for the sake of it. So you had like $30,000. 10 was the land, 10 was the house, and 10 was the furniture. I'm just saying a number just like to get to the point. And if your bank goes back in like 3 months and they say, oh, the land's value like doubled or tripled, the house, they will say, oh, that house doesn't cost like $5,000. I'm just saying like an example here, per room. It costs like $10,000 or $15,000 because all of the rooms or all of the houses in that area cost, let's say, $15,000 per room. I'm just saying here. And you build it for 4. The banks wouldn't care. The banks just care your house looks premium and it's that area. And they will say, okay, we'll give like 80% of the money and you will have cash. That means what can you do? You can buy a bigger land, a more beautiful land, and you can build like more houses there, like a duplex or triplex. You can move to one of them, and the second one and the third one, like the apartments, you can rent them out. That means you're not paying taxes in a way, in a legal way, in a way that the government wants. Because if you have like a duplex or a triplex, that means you have the apartment, you own it, and you rent it out, so everything is like a business investment there, like the furniture, the grass, the water, maybe even the food, if you keep the guests like an Airbnb there. So I highly advise you to check on the website. As again, I don't want your email, I don't want nothing, it's there, it's for free. Just check it, how to build these houses. I think the material is like really good, and I highly advise you to watch it. And maybe if you're like into the zero energy houses, like the sustainable house constructions, sign up to like subscribe to YouTube as well, because that's where I will speak about that for a long time, and I will try to make like a few videos a week. In case you like my video and you make it so far, I kinda have a question for you. Like I ask you to like or like comment the video because it helps me tremendously. YouTube works like that. If there's like a movement on the video or somebody likes it or shares it, that means it's good. So probably then YouTube will put in front of others who really need that information. And that's the main purpose, to show persons how to live free, like how to live in a house that it's not eating up their money, but it's making them money. If you comment below the video or like you like it, that will help not just me, but like other persons as well, because YouTube will put in front of them, like within this category. So that was today's video. See you in the next one.